So remember, um, I talked about the dural sinus, that's the top of the head, the crown chakra, and when you go with the Hindu um, symbology and iconography, and in Chinese medicine, they call it Bai Hui, the 100 meeting places, top of
Yeah.
the head.
Mhm.
Very, very important acupuncture place, acupressure, all kinds of stuff. And as you know, when you practice and you feel your aura, your chi around the top of your head, it has a profound effect on on the inside of your head. So, because I studied the physiology of the brain. We'd worked on the veterans with traumatic brain injury, and we'd cured them. So I had the data, I had the theory, and then I went to investors to try to come up with a gizmo, a device, because that was the only way that they would invest would be if there was a scalable gizmo.
Gotcha.
The difficulty is that the gizmo is only useful for people who are willing to put skin in the game and work their butt off and develop interoceptive knowledge like you did. And
Right.
you know how hard that was. And for the
Right. Sure.
typical person to take the time to do that, it's just not going to happen. But at any rate, that was the defect in the business plan was that it's a selective, by definition, a selective program. They're just only going to be a handful, relative handful of people who are going to make it. And I
Right.
found that out in my school. People got to be made of the right wood. Now, we can create a system where they can educate and probably expand that, but it's going to take time, and there have to be leaders that demonstrate this and convince people. And they have to be, I talked about this in the last podcast, an entire educational program that will create articulate instructors who are capable, who can actually create real energetic pulsatility that affect others and walk the talk, which
Hmm.
is walking the talk is the hard part. So anyway, I got together with one of my doctor investors and we created this concept where you have a halo that fits on, it goes around your head, kind of like a hairband, half a hairband, and then you have a part on top that touches the dural sinus. And it's an EEG, which can, from that, you can measure blood flow from it.
Okay.
And then the pressure sensors are important because the heart signal that we'd already proven was key to manifesting the pulse. And there's also a blood pressure and a heart rate variability marker that we found. So if you can demonstrate that you're causing fluctuations in the pressure of the top of your head, you are showing with this device that you're controlling flow through the dural sinuses, which are where those meningeal vessels are that prevent age-related brain disease and that probably were the mechanism by which those people overcame their traumatic brain brain injury. So you can see what it does is it's got a it had to be wired, and so it sends out it's recording all these signals in your brain, and your brain, by the way, is highly pulsatile. And
Mm.
most people don't know this, but the brain, we talked about Bagua earlier, the brain literally rings itself over a 24-hour period. It actually twists and rings itself and cleanses itself, move and writhes inside your skull. And you
Mm.
can feel that when you run the pulse up in your head. You can feel things kind of move around in your head,
Sure.
especially if there's an infection there. If there's a problem, it really, you can feel it
Yeah. Yeah.
because you're
Yeah.
trying to get rid of it.
Mhm.
So anyway, it picks up these signals and then it wirelessly sends this data and to a machine, and then that machine then can this is the machine here, and then you can send it to a cell phone or to a laptop monitor, and it can tell you whether or not you have significantly changed the flow in your head. Well, this ended up bombing. It didn't really work. But
Mm.
just to prove, really, what this is, just to go back, to the original start, I want to see if this may not work. And you can see what we have up here is a situation where you've got a device that's essentially picking up the fact that you're going boop, 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 boop. And that brings us back to, if I can get to it here, old Billy.
That's right.
There he is, the man who kicked it off. And remember, folks, don't worry about a nuclear war because while you're sleeping at night, there are, I don't know how many, 100 of these nuclear subs floating around under the ocean, watching out for your welfare, watching out for a nuclear attack, going boop, 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 boop.